Join me in centering before I tell you these stories. Whatever just happened, let it fade away. Whatever might be happening in the future, let it go. Simply come right here, right now with me, and I'll tell you my story. There I was, sitting with a patient, hearing her story, hearing her symptoms, and getting naturopathic treatment. It was time for me to get up. That threw me into a dilemma of shame and embarrassment. Would she notice that I was in pain when I was moving? Would my joints betray me that I was stiff and hesitant? With naturopathic treatment, why was I not resolving this arthritis? For crying out loud, doctor, heal thyself. I'd hate to think what mainstream medicine would do for me. Steroids, yes, would stop the antibodies from attacking my joints, but steroids would suppress my immune system, which meant that my day-to-day immunity made me susceptible to whatever's going around. In addition, steroids would throw my hormones off, and as a woman, I don't need that. NSAID anti-inflammatories would eventually damage my kidneys and my liver. And on top of that, in suppressing my ability to feel pain, it would suppress my ability to feel pleasure. No, thank you. It's not that I reject everything in the mainstream, but I have always suspected that there was more than I was being told growing up. For me, it was natural that there was such a thing as natural medicine. When it was time for me to be on my own and find a doctor, I heard about a naturopathic physician, and I said, that's for me. I started learning about the vital force within and how natural remedies restore function. There are orderly principles that don't suppress the body, but actually center and balance it. What made the difference for me to decide to become a naturopathic physician myself was discovering homeopathy. Natural medicine, what I love about it and what drew me to homeopathy was it speaks to the perfection of creation. Nature is all around us and we're not separate from it. We have allies here that nurture us, support us, restore our health. When we use naturopathic and homeopathic principles, then we can restore function when the body has not been able to do it by itself. I did use homeopathy to treat my arthritic condition, and also Bowen bodywork and herbs. But something was missing. I wasn't healed yet. That's when I was invited to come on a week-long meditation retreat. Now you'd think that I'd want to go because sitting there still, meditating, I didn't have to move, and that was the only time my joints didn't hurt. Well, maybe it was that, but also the great food. Beyond that, meditation brings me inward to all well-being. Meditation brings me to that place of perfect health in the center. I was able to rest in that place of perfect health for hour after hour. I resonated with well-being and health. When I got home, I felt crummy and started to get a fever. Must have been that sick roommate. I accompanied the process of the vital force in creating that fever. I bundled up, I drank hot ginger tea, and I rested. And no, it wasn't comfortable. I was miserable and achy. Nevertheless, I fell asleep. The next morning, the fever broke. Now, getting up with arthritis is an ordeal. That morning, I noticed something's different. I can roll over in bed and my hips don't hurt. there's no pain. I can get out of bed pain-free. That's when it hit me. It wasn't a sick roommate. The meditation and the treatments laid the groundwork for my vital force to create the fever to reset my immune system. When it reset my immune system, it stopped the antibody attack. No antibodies, no inflammation. No inflammation, no swelling. No swelling, no pain. That's how I was pain-free. All with a 24-hour fever. This showed me two things. Number one, the treatments that I was getting, the homeopathy, the Bowen body work, they laid the groundwork for the vital force to make that shift. So I didn't have to worry. The treatments were working. They kept bringing me closer and closer to the center where that transformation could occur. The second thing that it showed me was that the illness had a life force of its own. It had a life cycle. And so what I was doing was, with the treatments, I was helping to complete that life cycle. There was no blame, no shame for me having the illness. It just needed to complete its cycle. Now, a similar thing happened with a patient who came in with sciatic pain, and she wanted some body work. Let's call her Barbara. Sciatic pain grips your butt and sends searing, shooting pain down your leg. It's hard to get comfortable. Even moving hurts. After the first bodywork treatment, Barbara was pain-free, which surprised us both. But, and this is a huge but, not her but, but this is an important but. What happened when she got home is what made the difference. She left an abusive relationship and started a new career. When she was attempting to move forward in her life, her body was saying, no, to hold back, and that tension was apparent in the sciatic pain. She was able to come to her center of truth, to know she needed to make a shift. So when the conflict was resolved in her mind and in her emotions, the physical pain was resolved as well. What about you? What does this have to do with your life? Any illness is showing us that we need to come to our center because we've gotten distracted, distorted, conflicted, out of balance with nature. We can use, hold that thought. Biogeometry shows us that the center is the gateway to divine intelligence. Divine intelligence is at work in the vital force. We can accompany the vital force with that intelligence with the power of the center in two ways. Look at how your symptoms are asking you to support a process in your body. The symptoms themselves will give you clues how to accompany the vital force at work. For me, when I had a fever, I bundled up, drank hot tea, and rested, and that supported it. The second way we can use the power of the center is to try and discover what divine intelligence is asking us to do in order to grow. Barbara was asked to leave her abusive relationship and find a new career. And in doing that, her sciatic pain, which was a mirror of that tension, was able to be relieved. Now, natural medicine is a lot more nuanced than this, and it needs to be individualized to how a person's symptoms arise from their vital force. And it depends on their temperament and their ability to detoxify and a lot of things. However, we can use these vital principles. Ask yourself, am I trying to stop my symptoms, and in so doing, stop what the vital force is already doing to try and heal? If you are, cut it out. It's going to backfire. Instead, ask yourself, what are my symptoms revealing about the process at work? How can I accompany that? Where am I being asked to grow? These answers come from our center. Let's do a little exercise to discover what that's really all about. Sit comfortably and feel gravity pulling you down. Close your eyes if you like, but cameraman, please don't close yours. I need you. Rest in, sink in. Let your breath do whatever it's going to do. Sink into it even more. Draw your senses inward. Find your center. You might want to put your hand there. Now go to the center of your center and sink in. Rest in even more. This is where you can discover answers. This is divine intelligence at work. This is where we can rest. Keep that truth within you. Keep the connection to that center as you open your eyes. This is the power of the center. This is divine intelligence at work. Remember to come back to your center. That's where you can learn how to accompany the process of healing that's already at work with the vital force. Through the power of the center, using the power of the center, watch your life truly transform.